Welcome to the Real Comic Heroes Podcast. Your adventure into the world of comic book movies starts here.
Travis here. Going to be doing something a little bit different this episode. A few weeks ago, as of this recording, was the Movies by Minutes meetup. Usually that is a live in-person event. It's taken place the past couple years all across the country. And of course, this year we had to adapt, and it went virtual this year. So we had MxM at home, and I had the opportunity to interview / do a Q&A with the awesome folks over at TMNT Minute. And I got to ask them some questions and just have a really nice chat with them. So I wanted to include it here on our feed just to let more people listen to it. I don't want to take up too much time here because past me will do another introduction and explain exactly what is going on. So you can find TMNT Minute pretty much everywhere on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and all of your podcast apps. You should be able to download their shows. So here's me talking to Scott, Rachel, Adam, and Chris of TMNT Minute. So please enjoy, and Patrick and I will talk to you in a few short weeks, and stay safe out there. Well, welcome. My name is Travis Bowe. You may remember me from such TMNT Minute episodes as Therapeutic Root Karate, the Bridge Book of Ninja Fighting, and We Don't Need No Sneaking Axes.
Yes.
But this is TMNT Minute at home. Right off the bat, I want to thank some people for making this all a reality. Johnny Powers for setting up, the whole MxM at home event, and of course Jonathan Howell for the tech of the ep, as it were, and of course Pete and Alex over at Star Wars Minute for the whole Movies by Minutes format at the start of it. So I've been to all three of the previous live Movies by Minutes meetups, Chicago, Denver, and Portland. And each time I've heard someone say, that they wish that TMNT Minute could be there. Although I can't remember if you guys were around for Chicago, so maybe not that long ago. But still, people wanted, to get to know you guys at these meetups. So that was why, when Johnny put this together, that was my initial idea, was to reach out to you guys and try to set something up. So that's kind of how this came about. But, no further ado, I'd love to welcome the hosts of TMNT Minute. You know them, of course, but Scott Tofty, Adam and Rachel, and Chris O'Connor.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
So excited. I recognize so many names in my little Zoom boxes here.
Yeah.
Putting names to faces.
Yeah.
Zoom box.
People I've had on the show or people I've written music for. So hi, everybody.
Ooh, I forgot we have the little chat, and Johnny's saying applause. And
Applause. Thank you. We wanted to go to the last couple of Movies by Minute at homes. I think we were, in existence for the last two, and it always came up in our little group chat that man, I'm not on the West Coast or somewhere in the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if they came to Philly or New York? And Adam and Rachel were like, we're going to have everyone over to our house.
Yeah.
Cool. And then COVID. So
but Miss Rona had to ruin everything.
So it's awesome to be involved, and we're just hoping that people are enjoying what we have to say and enjoying our show, and we hope we're doing honor to the format. And Travis, thank you for approaching us and for hosting this shindig.
My pleasure. Thank you for asking me to be the host.
I was
first,
against it, so I just
Honor to the format.
What's that?
I said I was vehemently against you hosting this. I was overruled.
Yeah, we couldn't afford Robbie Wrist, so
Yeah.
We can't afford a lot of people.
Well, that perfectly sort of ties into one of my first questions. You guys have, one of the things that has stood out to me about your show is the amount of, I don't want to call them not all celebrity guests, but professional guests that you guys have had. And I know Jim O'Kane over at the Apollo 13 Minute and every other podcast he's got a method of bribing people with a headset mic. Like you ship them a free headset mic, so they don't have to worry about tech setup, and that helps get some of the guests that he's had on the show. So, and I've used that method and it does work. So, can you guys kind of talk about speak to some of the challenges you've had or some of the eases that you've had with reaching out to these people and getting them on the show?
Good to know about that headset mic thing, Scott. You gotta tuck that away into your bag of tricks.
I never thought of bribery.
The guy who does it all. There you go, Scott. There's another arrow in your proverbial quiver.
Yeah, we've done some serious backflips on getting the audio to work with some of these interviews.
Yeah.
Like some people will be like, "I'll do it, but it's got to be a phone call," and it's like, okay, we have to figure out a way to make that work.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna call through my rotary phone, and like you have to record it somehow.
From England.
So from England.
Yeah, right. That Skype call from England was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the first interview that we got was Partners in Crime. I think that was the very first. Yeah. And literally, I just reached out to them on Twitter, reached out to Rich on Twitter, and he was like, heck yeah, I'll come on, and gave us an astoundingly good interview, was super talkative and super into it, really wanted to like just be involved. And I think he even sat in for a couple of minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think he's the only guest that's done that so far.
And he's become like a friend. Like,
yeah.
I think Scott, you and Rich have hung out a few times since then. We've
gotten together once or twice, and we text each other fairly regularly now. So Rich is good people, man. And Rich is like an emergency responder. He's a really, really good dude. And he's involved with all the other people that are involved with the movie. Like he knows Judith Hoag, he knows Ernie Reyes, he knows Vanilla. Like he knows all these people.
Nice.
I have not milked that connection.
Don't.
So Steve Barron, the director of the film, which I think, no offense to Rich, was the first most exciting interview we got, guys, I would say.
Yeah.
The biggest up to that point. It was like the week before Christmas, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And it was.
No, I think it was actually Boxing Day. I think it was the day after Christmas.
Oh yeah, it was the day after Christmas.
Yeah.
I was at my mom's house and I was using my cell phone to get on the call and I was in a closet.
Yeah, I was at my dad's house, the basement I grew up in. I was in my house I grew up in my dad's basement. I didn't grow up in a basement. And had to like jerry rig a recording setup out of nothing. I used a sock for a windscreen, like propped up on like set of pliers, like you should have seen it. It was very MacGyvered.
And Adam, I think we were like in between family like holiday parties.
Yeah.
Like we had one later that day.
I think we had one previously that day.
Yeah.
It's like we have to go home, jump on this Skype call, and then we'll be back.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember like sort of popping my head out of the closet and like shouting down to people. It's like, can you keep the kids down? And they're all playing with their Nerf guns and like running past the closet. Like, keep them away. I'm talking to the director in England.
It's a reoccurring theme because it's the first of 3 interviews that I've had to do at my dad's house over some sort of holiday. And every time I would bring progressively more gear home. But like Steve Skyped in. I don't think he had a microphone. He phone called in and our internet was crap.
Yeah, he didn't even use Skype. He just made a phone call to our Skype.
He had Skype and he called like a Skype phone number and we patched that in with I literally had like RCA cables, like jury rigged like 1990, like plugged this into that and the output of this and the input of that one. Like, I think there was a VCR involved somewhere.
And if you listen to the interview, there were moments where we couldn't hear him, and he was giving us really great stuff, and we just had to like go, I hope he's finished
Yeah.
talking because we're going to jump in here.
Oh man.
What you did there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, like, apart from like just reaching out to partners in crime, like another thing that you've been doing and really successful at is just like from our Turtles Minute, like Instagram and Twitter, is just following all these people who worked on the movie and like this,
Yeah.
retweet that, just kind of like reply to things and start up little bits of conversation and just pay attention when they like something we post.
Yeah. I
That's
know.
worked out really well.
I have like a form letter that I modify that I send out via direct messages on Twitter and Instagram to people. And some people were really responsive. Like we got, I think Robbie Rist's agent reached out to us.
Nice.
Cool. John Dupre, the guy who runs Nostalgic Nebula, I think, God, I want to say it's like in Texas or California. I can't remember, somewhere away, gave me John Dupre's information and we got in touch with him. That was another phone call, but that was to this day my favorite interview.
Scott, I believe it's Scott Duprez.
Yes, it's Dupre. Sometimes it kills me. Kim Dawson and Bobby Herbeck, the producer and the writer of the first movie, we got through on Twitter. They've been super supportive. We actually, they had originally invited us to host their San Diego Comic-Con panel, and then I think ended up giving them a different moderator, which it was the old Turtle Den, I think, which is great. Like another super popular Ninja Turtles YouTube page. So can't even complain. They had probably had a way bigger following than we did. But yeah, I mean, we just reach out on Twitter and Instagram. Like I cold call people, and they either respond or they don't. You know, there are some people that have agreed to interviews that haven't, scheduled,
materialized,
kind of fallen off the face of the planet, and I try to stop bugging them because I don't want to be that guy. And then there's other people who like every single post we make and
Mark
then
Casso
answer a direct message,
like Ernie Reyes.
Yeah.
But Mark Caso's another one.
Mark
And
Casso.
I'm sure he's a sweet dude, but like apparently he doesn't check his DMs, so that's cool. Whatever.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at the chat here. It looks like Blake said he's not used to listening to us not at 2 times speed.
You want to?
Please don't do that.
Well, if you'd like me to talk faster,
That
I can
makes me
definitely
so
talk faster.
self-conscious.
I don't know that I'm necessarily going to be able to say anything cogent, but I can always talk faster.
Yeah, but we've been really lucky in the guests that we've gotten, and most of them, Francois Chow, like we got people I would never have thought of, and gave us amazing interviews. Robbie was amazing, John Dupre was amazing, like Kim and Bobby were like, all these people were fantastic. They're just so nice.
And I got to meet Robbie shortly after we talked to him at a convention he did here in Pennsylvania. So it's been really cool just getting to meet people who were involved with this project and like kind of become friends with some of these people. It's wild.
So Robbie invited me and Chris, because Chris wasn't able to make that interview for some reason, and he actually just invited Chris on his podcast.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Who does that? That's so cool. What a nice
Still
guy.
waiting for my invite. That's fine.
That's awesome. And yeah, I didn't mention before. Please, to the viewers, listeners we have in the chat right now, feel free to submit questions in there. I'll be pulling some from there as we go. And to answer Rob Lumley's question, yes, I did put on a host jacket for this.
Nice.
Which one piece of Ninja Turtles media is each of your favorite out of like comic book series, cartoons, movies, video games? Like what one piece stands out to you as, your favorite version of TMNT media?
Chris?
You make me go first. I usually like to think about these things, but on the fly, not having watched them in a long time and wanting to show them to my son. Like I've been looking at the DVD box set on Amazon and like itching to pull the trigger. But like the first cartoon, and like I seem to have like the softest or at least the most clogged part of my heart for the Burger King Kids Club episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I'd like to get my hands on those, show them to my kids. And then probably have those rose-colored glasses like shattered right off my face, because as much as I think back on them very fondly, probably not that great.
The first season of that is actually really good, and it's not until
But it's 10 seasons.
Right, but that initial like 5 or 8 episode run that was like is astounding. It's great, and then it kind of for a while. But yeah, your kid's gonna love it, and you're gonna love it. Adam, what about you?
I mean, I've fallen in love with the IDW comic series. I think they've done an amazing job of kind of connecting a lot of the outlying threads of the Turtles universe and kind of making one cohesive story. And specifically the current run right now, since issue 100, where Sophie Campbell's taken the helm, she's been doing an absolutely amazing job with this series, and I've just been all in on it.
Another person we got to talk to.
Yeah, another friend of the show,
and we'll hopefully get to talk to more about other things. But
shout out to Sophie.
Rachel, what about you?
I think the 2012 series, because it took a lot of the things from the original series that I loved and like turned it up to 11. Like every character is so realized and they're so unique and wonderful, and that was great.
That's the Nickelodeon cartoon series?
Yeah, the Nickelodeon show.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to watching that with the kids. Like we watched like the first 2 episodes, and then my wife was like, "Too much fighting," so I guess we have to wait a little bit.
It does the violence very well in that show. Before I answer, I have to tell Susan. Susan Hill asked, "What is worse, too many uhs or too many likes in a podcast?" I'm going to vote for and then I'm also going to say that we started by editing those out really heavily, and then towards the middle of last season, I was just like, "Yeah, screw it." So we're now teenage mutant ninja like turtle minute podcast.
If you can't handle me at my you don't deserve me at my whatever a good version of that is.
But I love the 90s movie, man. You can see back here, I'm getting my like NECA box set turtles all up on the thing there. I just think it's the most perfect blend of like the tone of the original Mirage comic and some of the humor from the 87 series. And it does it makes them seem like real, like people more than any other series that I've seen. Like I feel like they're people I know. Like they aren't over the top personalities. They're dialed in just right for each of the turtles. And Casey and April is great. Judith Hogue is just phenomenal in that movie. So that's what I would say, the 90s film.
Right on.
Or the 89 film, I guess, if you want to be technical, when they made it.
It's the 90 film for everyone, yeah. What about what's the secret origin of TMNT Minute? You know, I know most of you got together on Geek by Night, doing voices and working on that together. Is that how you all met? Where did it go from that to deciding, okay, we're going to do TMNT Minute?
Well,
go ahead, Chris. You can do it.
So before we went on to TMNT Minute, we had another podcast that I don't think it's up anywhere, is it? Like,
no, it's gone from the internet.
It's gone from the internet. Like I keep searching for it, and I'll find like Stitcher or like various like pages that list it, but then it's not there.
Can we go back though, because I think Chris, you and I first met on Buffy Between the Lines.
True.
Right? So I was doing a vampire voice on that. You were Xander on Buffy.
That's right.
Were you involved in that?
What?
Were you involved in Buffy Between the Lines?
No. I was aware of it, but I was not involved.
So Rachel came in on Geek by Night.
Yeah. So Corelli reached out to me during the very first iteration of that show because I was friends with him. I became friends with him through his other, that first podcast he did. And like we were chatting and he's like, I've got this project. So that's how he and I became friends. He got me to audition and that's how I got involved with Geek by Night.
Yeah. And then after Geek by Night, what Chris was talking about is we did this show called Shredded Cereal, which was we started with Buffy. We watched like
did we start with Buffy or did we start with, then we did. Okay.
I think we did Buffy, and we would watch like the best of Buffy. We'd pick like our
episodes or something. But
we would watch and along and comment. It was a live commentary, like a Mystery Science Theater kind of thing, which sounds good, except like who's going to turn that on in their car and listen to it? So
nobody.
And then there'd be like 30 seconds of silence while we're watching something on screen.
I did love that we used the Mario Kart Ready Set Go for press play on your DVD.
So good. Like the the 10 best and 10 worst episodes of Next Generation, I think.
Yes, that was also fun.
And then a couple of holiday specials.
Yeah, movie commentaries.
In there. I think we did Batman Returns was one of
I
them.
think Batman Returns. Oh no, wait, it's not up anywhere, but you still have it. And every once in a while, I listen to it, and it's just so much fun.
And then I guess the movie we saw Star Wars Minute, and I heard about that peripherally. It was really when Pirelli did Back to the Future Minute.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was kind of going. I was like, man, this is a cool idea. We should do one. I bet no one's done Ninja Turtles because nobody liked Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Scott, you approached me about that, and I'm like, I have to bring Adam into this because
I heard about the idea, and then I bullied my way in. I was like, there's no way you can expect me to be quiet in this house while you're recording that podcast without me.
Yeah. Like, bye, honey. I'm going to go record my Turtles thing.
Plus, we have to have 4 of us. So
yeah, you need to have 4. So
and Scott and I recorded a pilot for a wrestling podcast that never went further than that.
Yep.
Prior. So
about that, we should go back to that. We
yeah.
have so many podcasts right now.
Do you need another podcast, Scott? Is that something we need?
I'm trying to figure out a way to make this my job. Teaching is, so if I can get into this for money, let's do that.
We should make a list. We should make a list of all the failed projects we have between us collectively, because I have at least 3.
I still have the I still have the domain for Bloodsport Minute.
Oh yeah. Well, we're still going to do Airheads at some point, I think, Adam.
Yeah.
Nice.
Push to the back burner with all these other things, and then we did Up From Below. Like Ralph Atanasia and his buddy Sean brought us his buddy Sean, and he was like, "Hey, you guys ever played like RPGs?" And I was like, "No." They're like, "Do you want to?" Sure. You want to record it?
Yeah.
So now that's a thing, and there may be a spin-off podcast based on that.
Oh, nice. I definitely want to talk about Up From Below. We're 5 or 6 episodes in?
7.
Yeah, I think 7 went live today.
Okay.
And we have exactly that many episodes of finished artwork. So that's
well, it is a fantastic listen. I'm not familiar enough with the kind of the role play side of it to know all the rules, but it's really great to listen to it, and it's just done just really well. I'm very impressed by how you guys are putting that together.
Well, thank you. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun work.
Yeah.
It's a great thing to do when everyone's world shut down.
Yeah.
It came to us at the right time. And Ralph is just endlessly entertaining, and he was always such a great guest on Turtles Minute, and to have him, another person who's become like a friend of the show, like we've hung out with, to have him come to us and be like, hey, I want to do this with you guys was pretty cool. And then,
I was excited just from the jump. Just when he asked us to do it, I was like, oh my God, this is already a big deal. Like, even if it was just us playing this game with him and we weren't recording it, like that was kind of already a big deal for me.
well, and that was sort of the initial plan. I don't think we were talking about like podcasting it until we had a discussion and we're like, we should just record this and see what happens.
And then you got really carried away.
Turned into the original score, which I'm still writing. Like,
yeah, like you did that like within a couple of hours of like our first recording session. Like I think you sent us the first bits of music like the next day.
I don't remember. That sounds like something I would do though.
And we were just like, wait, what?
We toyed with the idea of doing Foley work on top of it, and then that's kind of that was the part where we were like, all right, we have to drop one element of this production. We can't just keep going.
Yeah.
Adam, Rob Lumley wants to know, is Adam wearing a Cactus Jack shirt?
Indeed.
Nice.
If it's movies by minute Philly, I gotta rep the Cactus Jack.
Can I also point out my collection of wrestling Hasbro figures
I
back?
saw him sitting down there. Yeah.
Oh, your little wrestle guys.
I mean, you can point at them, but we can't see them.
Yeah,
I've shown up at parties that I didn't know were Halloween parties wearing this shirt and a red flannel, and like waiting to get in the party going like, oh shit, this is a Halloween party and I didn't know. And then someone's like, awesome Cactus Jack costume. I'm like, all right, fine, that's what it is.
fantastic.
Yeah. From Joshua Stevens over on the Facebook group, he sent in several questions. Any chance that you may tackle the animated movies Turtles Forever and Batman versus TMNT?
So as of right now, the only planned movies by minute, we sort of take it one season at a time, right? So like we weren't 100% certain we were going to do season 2 until we finished season 1, and we are just still kind of kicking the ball, getting things ready for season 3. There are no plans beyond that right now. However, we have discussed, if nothing else, doing like a comment, not a commentary, but like a reaction, sort of just an episode about those things. I think
I'd like to get John and Niall involved in the Batman and Turtles crossover.
Definitely. I think with movies by minute, it just takes, and you guys all know, it takes so much time. That like everyone needs to like 100% want to be on board, and we can't even think that far ahead. So I mean, maybe we might. I wouldn't hedge bets on it, just like I probably wouldn't hedge too many bets on the Michael Bay movies. But who knows? I'm really intrigued with this the Netflix stuff, what that's going to turn out to be, or this Seth Rogen one. So
that is the Netflix one, isn't it?
I think it is. Yeah. I'm going to call it 100 different things about it. But who knows? We
hardly ninja.
Might not. Yes, we will, and also no, we won't. So
perfect answer. Josh also asks, he says, the cast of TMNT 90 recently did a table reading, but I'm very interested in listening to you guys doing so. Not a question, I know, but just wanted to let you know that there is still some interest in doing that. So, and it definitely, I was part of the Bat Minute, table read for the 84 script that never got made, and it is a lot of fun. It's definitely one of those things you can kind of put together as a hiatus special or sort of thing. But I don't know if there are.
It's been really hard nailing down a copy of that script.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and we had talked about doing just that. And I think after we talked to Robbie, I think that right after that interview, and it went so well, we were like, we should do a table read, and I bet you he would do it. I know Rich Usher, Partners in Crime, is dying to be the shredder in something. So I would love to do it, but like Rachel and Adam said, I've almost been begging for copies of this. I literally wrote an email to Kim Dawson like, hey, by the way, if you have a copy of the script and you'd want to photocopy it or send it to me and I'll whatever. And he was just like, busy, bye.
Yeah. And that's also kind of the cool thing about Up From Below is that you're able to you're building something that is, you guys are creating it in the canon, as the 5th season. So it's really cool to kind of, you're doing that with all the production value and, losing my point here, but it's kind of like doing a script read, but you're doing it for original material. So
and there's been a couple people who have even said like, man, would you guys write this? Could you make it a comic book? Could you turn it into a live script? I'm like, it's so much work. Sean Jaffe, Sean Jaffe, our game master, did a great job at putting this story together. And without spoilers, like it gets better in the back 9. Like
we really take advantage of Sean has this game mechanic that he uses in his own book of rules that he's come up with called tracking errors, where anyone not involved in a scene can place anything in there. And towards the end, man, we get, I think, the best use of that mechanic.
A little carried away.
Just stay tuned. It gets a lot. It gets really fun.
I'd love to do a script read. I would absolutely love to do a script read, especially of the first film, without any of the edits. I want to see the shooting script, read every single scene. I would kill to do that. But I don't. If we haven't found a script yet, the chances of it happening are pretty slim.
I think the closest we came was like a transcribed script. Like someone watched the movie, wrote down all the dialogue, and that's the best we could find.
Yeah, and if we can't even get one from Bobby Herbeck, the guy who wrote it,
I
don't know.
He gave these, and it's beautiful. So what they have, and they gave them to the cast and crew, is these like professionally bound copies of the script that has the shooting script on one side, but then the storyboards on the other side. And I've found a couple of scans of these online, and they're just beautiful. And you can even see storyboards of scenes that got cut from the film. But like that, embossed and like leather bound, they're so cool. I'm like,
Sounds expensive.
I just want it on printer paper where you still have to like tear off the perforated edge and like a brass tack through it.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe it'll go up at auction someday.
I'm scrolling through the our Zoom chat. Luke Allen asks, "What is your favorite verb and why?"
Yikes.
Well, that's easy. It's also my favorite adjective, and I don't think I should say it live on air.
Wait, should we not?
Verb.
Oh, okay. Is this PG-13? Well, not that I'm like itching to test it, but I mean, you
can do what you want.
Recent and previous usage, I would say defenestrate is one of my favorite verbs.
You've
Nice.
used that on the show before.
I did. I like it. It's a fun word.
I am stumped.
Favorite verb.
We'll come back to it. Yeah.
Oh, that's such a, I wasn't expecting that
here's
to be a really
here's a
hard
good one that
question.
everyone's going to love. Moisten.
Ew.
And I already see people running out of this Zoom
Yeah.
call.
It's not a real verb, but I like the word rekajigger. It's a made up word, but you can use it.
That is a verb.
You can use it for a lot of different things.
I feel like if I had to pick a favorite verb, it would be like an onomatopoeia, like sound effect that could also be a verb. Like
Yeah.
something like boink
Or squish.
or squish.
What?
Yeah.
Let's see. Going back to Joshua Stevens from Facebook says, "Which TMNT character would you love to encounter in Up From Below that you haven't encountered yet?" So maybe spoilers or
Yeah.
Let me think about that. Who
Okay.
would I love? Who from the movies would I love to encounter that we haven't encountered yet? You know who I would love to encounter is Jordan Perry.
Yeah. I would say Pigeon Pete. When we first started talking about this, we were like, you don't have to be a turtle. You can be any turtle's canon character. I was like, Pigeon Pete. Dibs on Pigeon Pete.
But didn't we come up with our own canon for what happened to Jordan Perry?
I don't know if that's come out yet. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I would love to actually meet him in the show.
I wish we had interacted with It's Just Dan Now.
Oh, yeah, would have been a good one.
Oh.
Danny, are you okay? Are you okay, Danny?
Dan.
It's Dan now, Dad.
So Charlie clearly got fired from that job, right? Like he wasn't there for any of the like in Turtles 2 or 3 when April was being reported. Like he's just gone. They fired him. They canned him, right?
Or he quit. He's like, I'm done with this.
I'm going to take my son out to the suburbs, and we're going to live that life.
New York is dead.
Like maybe he became like a high school principal or something
He's
wholesome.
got some serious high school principal vibes.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to keep an eye on Danny. Like, well, Danny's starting high school now, so I need to be the principal.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Or teach the media arts class.
Or like a computer programming class.
All right, we're getting too carried away
Yeah.
on the Charles Danny storyline. Welcome to
Yeah.
TMNT Minute, everybody.
We really loved talking about that family dynamic, didn't we?
Yeah, yeah.
April.
So much to say. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably better than the Casey and his son dynamic that you guys created.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
sometimes we get dark. And if you haven't listened, I think the gist of it was that Casey Jones had a son that was murdered, and that's why he went on to be a vigilante, like an infant.
Yeah, and we came to that conclusion because it seemed like a lot of his gear and his little golf bag on his back is child-sized.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand what a crumpet is. Oh my God, he loved crumpets so much.
Jesus.
He wears the mask so people can't see him cry.
Oh. Oh man.
I also like
Yeah.
our theory that
Yeah,
he's
for
just
Casey
in
Jones.
Rikers for the second movie.
Yeah.
Why not? That is something when we get to 3, I feel like a big arc of it is going to be, where the hell has Casey been?
Yeah.
He finally made bail. Finally.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that guy we thought you murdered wasn't actually dead.
Yeah.
Good.
Oops.
I went back and recently re-listened to the first few episodes of season 1, and I just have to say, it's amazing, number one, how our on-air voices change. And clearly it's not maturity. It's just, I guess, ease of like just being more relaxed. Everyone's voices kind of dropped in tension. And number 2, just the audio quality. Like we clearly, and I'm sure everyone else figures this out too when you're doing your podcast, there's like every 10 episodes, it seems like your audio quality just gets better as you figure out better ways to do everything.
Yeah.
Well, in the first season, Rachel and I shared a single snowball mic.
Yeah. Because that's all we had.
I'm such an audio nerd. I completely changed the way I do up from below is mixed and tweaked completely differently than season 2 of Turtles was. A whole different set of plugins and logic, like completely different.
No, that's awesome.
There's an idea if you want to figure out how to get paid for this is you could just edit other people's podcasts.
Yeah,
charge
or
them
I
money.
could put a nail gun to my foot.
Someone
Yeah.
in the Movies by Minutes group is doing that.
My
I'm sure.
hat off to you. That is,
Yeah.
you're the real hero.
That is my least favorite part of producing a podcast.
But I'm never going to touch.
You know what?
But that's where you'll make your money, because you'll be like, hey, do you
'Cause
want to
nobody
not
wants
do
to
your
do it.
least favorite part of this? It's like, yes.
My favorite moment of my entire podcasting career is when Adam started a podcast. Because when I came to him and was like, so season 3, he's like, I can help edit. And I was like,
Speaking of which, shameless plug, listen to Tales from the Short Box, my once weekly comics podcast.
It's a good
Where
show.
we give a lot of love to the IDW series. I think I've talked about every issue since like 98. So it's all there.
Early episodes recorded from this very table.
Yeah, from this very dining room.
Yeah.
it's called a studio.
Well, the studio's upstairs. It's the setup up there isn't really conducive to this kind of thing.
You guys have very nice tchotchkes in the background, though.
That's our spice rack.
Yeah.
I love it.
Where the spices live. And you can't see it, but all our liquor is over here behind Adam.
Glad that I can't see Adam's Nintendo controller synthesizer that I love so much.
That's in the other room. The piano case.
There's also some Legos down here.
Yeah, my view's not that good.
See, folks, TMNT Minute hosts are just like us.
Oh my God, can we talk about the fact that this is also like, we're coming out of the worst year of podcasting of our lives. Like, the middle of season 2 was like dropped.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Adam and Rachel, you guys were moving out of your house.
Yeah, we bought a house.
This house.
This house.
This is the famous house that we bought.
Our
don't
house.
like that whole time period is such a blur. I don't remember settlement. I don't really remember moving. Like
Nobody remembers that.
No,
Yeah.
it was all a blur.
And my mother passed away in March of that year. So I was like back and forth dealing with all that. And then Chris, we were about to record an episode and we're like, where's Chris? And he texted us a picture of like, it looked like a barbecue, like a close up on a barbecue. And we're like, what's this? And Adam's like, I think that's his living room. And it
It was a crater. You sent us a picture of a crater.
Yeah. Well, my analogy for it, like to describe it, was it kind of looked like a screenshot from like Fallout 3 of like, walking around somebody's burned out house.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was doing. I was just like, I sent you that picture and I was like, I should probably tell him I'm fine.
Yeah, there was a good 15 minutes between when you sent that picture and when you explained exactly what we were looking at.
Yeah.
You were horrified.
It was not a great day. Oh, and my first day of work at my new job.
Good job.
Yeah.
Congrats.
After I'd been cast off from the last one.
Man. So we had a year's head start on all this terrible end of the world crap.
Yeah.
So
And somehow we managed to still finish season 2,
it's
even though it took us so long to get through it.
Yeah.
It did.
it was such a good like positive distraction though. Like once we got rolling again, it felt so good to get back into it. It felt so good to talk to you guys again, and actually having the podcast, having deadlines and something to do made a lot of really unbearable stuff really, really bearable.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
The turtle fan community is so great. Like we have a great Facebook listeners group. A lot of you guys are in it. And we've said it 100 times. Like I've never had a negative interaction with Turtles fans. Everyone has always been super supportive, super nice. Like, and it's just been great. Like we don't get trolls. We don't get like people shit talking us. It's all really good. We get a bad review.
Yeah, a couple of bad reviews, but I am frankly like surprised we haven't had to deal with more crap. It seems like a lot of other groups, like I go in there and I was like, oh, that's an ugly conversation they're having. And it never comes, not that I'm asking anybody to do that. Please don't.
Please, we're open. We're having an opening in the position of troll.
Yeah, we need a resident jerk in our Facebook.
No, we really don't. It's nice to have a jerk-free space.
Did someone say resident jerk?
There we go.
I'll take care of that. No problem.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories and seen horror stories from some of the other Movies by Minute groups. I'm like, thank God.
There's one I'm currently actively following. I'm not going to say what group or who, but it's been entertaining.
It is kind of like watching a dumpster fire sometimes.
Yeah.
You just sit there with popcorn.
People are going to come to our page with kerosene and matches.
I'm going to jump back in with a couple more questions. And this is from listener Jeff Hamill, cool Jeff. And Jeff wants to know, he says, this might have been talked about on the show before, but what animal would each of you want to mutate with?
Red panda.
Oh, that's a good one. You had that ready to go.
Because that's my favorite animal.
Okay.
I love foxes and I love raccoons, and a red panda is the perfect middle point between those two.
They are pretty good.
Yeah.
Adam, any idea?
It's a tough one. I mean, Pigeon Pete. No.
You do always like say you would like to be a frog, or like you were a frog.
I think I was a frog in a past life.
Yeah.
I feel like, and in the last few issues of Turtles and IDW, there's this teenage frog character that I just loved immediately. Like I saw him in one panel as like favorite character in the series right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think a frog is probably.
Yeah, because I've seen you like walk outside in the rain. And you're like.
Or it's like really like cold and just incredibly humid, like 1,000% humidity. I'm like, that's a beautiful day.
I always feel like monkeys are my favorite animal. So like a chimp or like a spider monkey or something would be fun. But then there's also a big part of me that just wants to mutate into my dog, which is a Shiba Inu, just so I can be an asshole all the time.
Dude, I want to come back in my next life as a golden retriever owned by like a wealthy white family. Because that dog is living his best life.
Nice.
Get a movie made out of you.
Yeah.
Your whole life.
Learn to play basketball.
I mean, I guess a cat, some sort of cat, either a big cat or just a house cat, but cats.
Yeah.
I definitely want to stay mammal. And I like climbing and being quiet. And
You do?
Yeah. I think I would prefer to be a predator animal than a prey animal. And cats are pretty cool. So cat.
Right on.
Travis, what about you? What do you want to be when you grow up?
When I grow up, I want to be. I mean, I keep thinking of a man bat from Batman and just how cool that would be. So I'd go bat.
Yeah, bats don't have the best rep right now, but that's very.
Yeah. I got to,
Man bat.
I mean, echolocation is pretty cool,
right?
Yeah. Ooh, echolocate. That's my favorite verb.
Full circle.
Yeah. Callback.
I just recently hung a bat box in our backyard because our mosquito situation has gotten really bad.
Yeah.
There was a moment there I was like, do we really want to attract bats right now with everything that's going on?
Is it labeled like in the 60s Batman series? Bat box?
No, we did spray paint a bat signal on it, though.
Yeah.
Nice. shark repellent.
Yeah, come to Pennsylvania. Our mosquitoes are plentiful.
Yay!
Yeah, we're really selling that backyard barbecue.
Yeah.
It is the bite me state, right?
Is it?
I don't know.
No, it's not.
I've never heard that before.
Most mosquitoes bite. We need a soundboard. That's what we need, Adam.
No, we don't.
We definitely need one if we're going to do Airheads.
True.
We can't do that one without a soundboard.
Okay, so in Seth Rogen's TMNT project, whatever shape that takes form in, are there any unused elements from the lore that you'd like to see incorporated?
So there's so many good things. Like everything in Turtles has been done well once at least, right? There have been things that have been done badly several times, but everything's been done well once. The one thing that I have never really they never got it right 100% to the comics is Triceratons. I think they did really well in 2007? Is that when the 2003 cartoon, the TV series? But it's also a really hard thing to do because you can believe mutant turtles, but can you believe alien Triceratops dinosaur? But I don't know, man. There's this
neutrinos.
The neutrinos would be really good too, Chris. I like that one.
I want to see the Mousers.
Yeah. Mousers would be good.
This is I'll let you guys answer, but here's my thing. Because I love Turtles 90 so much, I would love to see Baxter and the Mousers, like that Ninja Turtles 2 storyline in a live action film. Seth's not going to be live action, so it's not going to be that, but that's my wish. But Adam, Rachel, you guys.
Well, I would have said the Triceratons, but I knew Scott was going to roll over me on that one.
Yeah.
But I've always loved the Rat King.
Oh, nice.
And especially they did the Rat King really well in the IDW series, and I'd love to see that take on that character on the screen. I think that'd be amazing.
If I had to pick one thing, it would just be more badass ladies, like more female representation. The 2012 series did it really well, but I want to see it done even more.
Yeah, I mean, there were some problematic things about the 2012 series when it came to female characters, but
yeah,
there are characters, and Sophie has done a pretty good job with this in her run of pulling out characters that were not really given a fair shake and writing them deeply. Characters like Mona Lisa, Alopex has been huge. Alopex right now is my favorite thing going, and Rachel, you're filling it on up from below.
Yeah,
thank you.
Alopex and Mona Lisa and Jenica have been phenomenal.
Jenica?
Yeah.
That would be fun to see. Let's write that into a movie. There's no we've seen 4 turtles in
Cuddly the Cowlick.
Cuddly?
Oh yes.
Cuddly the floating cowhead.
Yeah. Intergalactic wrestling would be a lot of fun.
That would be fun.
Yes.
That is one of the bright spots of reading the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures comics to my son is all the stuff with Cuddly the Cowlick.
Oh.
But
Ed?
yeah, my OnlyFans.
Can we answer the what mics do you use?
Yeah, I was just about to suggest that. Yeah, go for it.
Well, I want to know what mic you're using. Is that a blue?
It is. It's the
Spark?
Blue Spark, maybe SL. Yeah.
Blue makes a good microphone.
Yeah, I started with the Yeti just because it was a nice entry-level USB mic, and then when I upgraded to XLR, I went with the Blue Spark. But Scott, what do you got going on there?
I'm also podcasting out of my home music studio, so I love gear. So thank you for the question. Who asked it? It was Sean.
Oh, Sean German. Yeah.
So I'm using a Shure SM7B, which is my favorite vocal mic of all time, and it's running into a Focusrite interface, which is then running into my computer. I think I used an M Audio producer for some of season 1, which is just a brighter USB condenser. This is dynamic, and it's got a really fat low end. They use it to mic bass drums and do like Robin on the Howard Stern show uses this mic.
I've been wanting that mic for a long time, but I can never, especially because I run a show with 4 people. I'm like, I don't want to get 4 of those.
You will never get crosstalk with this microphone. It's great. It's so directional, and it cuts out all. There's sirens going on outside. I don't know if you can hear them, but it just zooms in on what's in front of it. I love it.
Yeah, so I guess out of all of us, I know the least about the microphones and our recording situation. I have a Samsung Q2U USB mic that has like other stuff on it that I don't use. This is the replacement mic paid for by listeners like you through the Dueling Genre Patreon, which we have, and we receive some funds for replacing mics when they get blown up in a fire.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
That's specifically what the mics are for. We never thought we'd have to use it, and then, Chris goes ahead and blows his house up in a fire. Adam, what do you got?
So, for a while we were both recording. She was using a Snowball, and I was using a Marantz USB mic. But we kept running into issues when you use two USB mics on a Mac, things get really weird and wacky. So I think I actually posted a thread to the Movies by Minute Facebook group, and from the recommendation of the guys from Star Wars Minute, I bought these mics. These are Behringer mics. They're they were surprisingly inexpensive, but I've been getting surprisingly good sound out of them. And then I have a Behringer 4-channel mixer.
And I still use my Snowball for all my single recording stuff.
If there's one piece of advice I could give for podcasters who are not working in like a sound treated room or a professional studio, it's get rid of your condenser mics and get a dynamic mic.
Yeah, that was the best thing I could have done.
Condenser mics, the ones that look like what Travis has there, they're super good mics. They have amazing audio quality. They're crystal clear. They'll pick up the whole frequency range. But the problem is they're super clear. They pick up the whole frequency range. So if your voice doesn't sound great, then your voice is going to sound like you're going to sound like you're echoey, right? It hears more of the room. You can get right up on a dynamic, and it gets nice and fat and round, and it makes you sound really present. And it cuts out a lot of the room noise just because of the design of the microphone.
And with recording Tales from the Short Box, all four of us record in the same room. Typically, not lately because of all of the madness, but having dynamic mics for that kind of setup is the best, because otherwise it would be a nightmare to try to edit.
Yeah, I like the Snowball, but I have to be right up on it. Otherwise, it's going to pick up an echoey thing.
And it still picks up the whole room.
Yeah.
I have to use the downstairs bathroom when you're recording because your office is right up against the bathroom upstairs.
Yeah.
My dream was to do like a microphones and me panel at Movies by Minute Philly. That was like my fantasy, was to just do like a presentation on microphones and like things to plug them into.
Next year.
Yeah. Okay, so it's pop quiz time.
No.
This is an actual question sent in by Mark from DCEU Minute, aka Mark Meadows on all social media.
One second. Do you guys remember that time I went on a podcast and they asked me what minute things happened in the movie?
Yes, we remember that. You remember that.
I just want to brag about that. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Nope, that's okay. So Mark asks, and you can just kind of buzz in with the answer, but this is multiple choice. So, Mark asks, Tournament Fighters was a 2D fighting game modeled after Super Street Fighter II, made in 1993 and produced by which game developer? Midway Games, Konami, Capcom, or SNK?
I believe that was Capcom.
Anyone else?
Konami.
I know a lot of the games were made by Konami, so I'm going to go with Konami.
Yeah, I think it's either Konami or Capcom, one of those.
It is Konami.
Bam.
I should have known that.
Adam, you're off the show.
I'll whip myself after this. I should have gotten that.
The last question I have comes from Jonathan Howell, and he asks, what ninja weapon would you use, and you can't use what's already taken?
Oh.
Chris is going to have a distinct advantage since he's like a master of weapon theory.
I've always been partial to the battle fan. Bladed battle fan.
That's good. I like that. That's fun.
I'll go last.
All right. Adam?
I like the Tonfa.
Okay.
Personally.
Solid
There's a lot
choice.
of versatility.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I guess I would go with that, whatever that 3 nunchuck thing is. There's like a bow in the middle, and then there's 2 like sticks on the end. It seems like it's impossible to use, but it would look cool. And in the second season, I would just use a grappling hook.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that. The 3-chuck. I'm gonna poop on that choice. That's a terrible choice.
Well, you don't like nunchucks, so why would you?
I don't like
3-chuck.
A 3-chuck. I like that even. Well, yes, I like that even less. The more joints you put into the chuck, the exponentially worse it gets. But let's see. Oh my goodness, that's just so hard. It's like flexible weapons are really cool, and I like Manriki Suguri, and I like the sort of I'm on a chain weapons. But since nobody took it, I'll just go with sword. The ninjato I don't really like too much. I don't like the straight blade. And then just use katana, so I'll just take a katana.
I just want to say Chris has been like invaluable in his ninja knowledge. Like so many episodes are just like, so Chris,
right?
What the hell's happening? And he like this dude, he just knows his martial arts, and it's been such like a wonderful thing to have on our show because I don't know anything. Like I watch my sports have scripts. My fighting has scripts. So I don't.
Yeah, but you're our New York geography expert, Scott.
Oh yeah, but you need to do more of those like shots where you like recreate the screenshot.
I wanted to. I wanted to go do a whole bunch of them, and then I didn't because lazy.
And Miss Rona.
Cuts, I should. So yeah, someone in the chat posted, "What about combat cold cuts?" I love combat cold cuts, and I really think everyone should go to the Dueling Genre TeePublic page and buy our combat cold cuts T-shirt that I designed.
You can also get a Tales from the Short Box flu mask now too.
Our awesome righteous Bossa Nova Chevy Nova T-shirt. Oh, someone has the shirt. Yeah. All right.
Jonathan Carlisle just asked the question I've been wanting to ask ever since you started talking about mics. But yeah, it says, is another benefit of the dynamic mic that you can touch it without additional noise?
I mean, can you hear that?
No.
Yeah. Condensers, everything is super sensitive. I can go through and tell you the whole makeup of it if you want, but nobody wants that. But dynamics, there's not really moving parts. In a condenser, there's like moving parts. Like the thing that picks up the microphone is much more sensitive, or picks up the air vibration is much more sensitive. It's called the diaphragm.
Nice.
Diaphragm.
Thank you, Mr. Tofty.
Yeah. That's all the questions I have. I wanted to say before we get out of here, thank you to you, the excellent hosts, Chris, Rachel, Adam, Scott. Thank you again for letting me be here. So yeah, we're going to open it up, kind of unmute all the mics for the people in the room. People can just kind of chat for a bit before we get out of here in a few minutes. So again, thank you guys.
I want to say Hey.
I'm Scott. Unmute. Okay.
Sorry, I just muted everybody. Sorry.
That's all right. I just wanted to thank Travis because Travis has been awesome in hosting this and reaching out and just being a good dude all around. So hand for Travis. Nice job, Travis. Thank you, sir, for doing all this. And Jonathan as well. All right. Sorry. I'll shut up now.
No, everyone can talk. You can unmute yourselves now. You now all have the power. I grant you the power.
I muted myself. Ooh.
The power of Grayskull.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was really awesome. And I'm going to stop the recording here. We can keep talking.
Okay, cool.
TMNT Minute and Reverend Motherverse are proud to present a special podcast event, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Up From Below, a role-playing game played and performed for your entertainment as the 5th entry in the TMNT cinematic series.
Based on the Palladium Games role-playing book Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness, and featuring an all-new original story, art, and musical score.
Starring Adam Sheehan as Michelangelo, Scott Tofty as Leonardo, Chris O'Connor as Raphael, and Ralph Atanasia as Donatello, Rachel Gatlin as Alopex, and your game master, Sean Jaffe.
So this summer, tune in to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Minute presents Up From Below, the limited series event, anywhere you get your podcasts, and at tmntminute.com.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. Find the show on Facebook and Twitter at Real Comic Heroes. All music and audio are the property of their respective creators.